Welcome to Take Two, the podcast with the Rock 95 morning crew. It's Craig, Brian, and MJ. I solidified my vacation plans for the summer.
Exciting.
Oh, yes. Nice.
We're going to go to Montreal, which I've been to before. But,
how do they say it?
Montreal?
Thank you. You're working on it.
Yeah. My son has never been, so I thought we'd take him and do a little... You know, stay in Canada, which is kind of the in thing to do this year, and
it also feels like it's not Canada when you go there.
It's true, yeah,
it's a different world.
So we're very excited. So we talked about this, between us at home and what we're going to do, some of the attractions we're going to see, and some of the restaurants. You know, we always talk about when we go away. The food is, to me, it's part of the attraction.
Especially
if you go somewhere where the food's just a little bit different, it's kind of cool to check out some unique restaurants and such. I said I have a food rule though. And
was this kind of a democracy at the dinner table when you were telling this rule?
I said this. They kind of got into it. They said, "Oh, that makes sense." And this is the rule. We don't. Yeah, we don't eat dessert on where we eat the meal. So, for instance, like if we're eating a dinner and we feel like dessert, we don't eat it there. We leave. We go for a little walk. We find a nice place that is a dessert-only place and get dessert there.
Nice.
I thought that was a nice rule.
Nice.
And a smart rule, because I don't think we ever done that before. We never laid that out.
I'm sure you were like, listen, it's important to incorporate a walk because it's dessert, so we're exercising.
Exactly.
We're walking off
some room.
Was that part of it?
Yeah, we're walking off the cake before we get it in us.
That's right.
But I think it's important, there's got to be food rules when you're on vacation. I think my parents always had a food rule that they would stop for buns and cheeses when we'd go out. And that would be the rule that, we'd eat one meal in the hotel room.
Yeah,
to save a little
stuff you've
accumulated, exactly.
Yes. Which, you got to save a little money.
That's
right?
true.
So did you do that in Australia? I mean, you were gone for 3 weeks.
Yes.
I would say you have to save some money in some form with a meal. Right?
Yeah, we didn't have hard and fast rules or anything like that, but definitely there was, if we could find a grocery store and we were going to be at a hotel for a couple of days, it was definitely bring stuff back to the hotel that we could have.
The kids complain about that too. Like, oh man, I thought we were going out.
I thought we were doing this. Yeah, and in the morning, because my kids eat like little birds, we very rarely had breakfast.
You could skip breakfast.
Yeah, we could skip breakfast. So we always made sure to have like apples and bananas and like all those kinds of things or whatever. Like, here you go, take a croissant and a banana for the road and let's go. And then don't talk
water
to us.
and enjoy.
Yes, bring your water bottle. You have your water bottle. You got your water
Water's
bottle.
free.
Very good.
Here's a rule. Did you stick with the hotel coffee, or did you have to go out and get an actual coffee from a place and spend $5?
And there is no such thing as a coffee in Australia for less than $5. You're just not going to get it.
You're not going to get that.
They do the lattes and the flat whites and the cappuccinos. Okay. You can't get a regular coffee. So in a hotel, I actually loved getting the coffee there in the hotel because even though it was instant, it was cheap and it was free and it was regular coffee and I loved it that way.
A lot of people don't dig the hotel coffee. My wife is not really into it. She'll drink it and then she'll have it and then she'll go, can we get a real coffee?
Right. People, they throw that word out.
Yeah.
The real coffee.
The real one.
The real
when
coffee.
When are we doing the real coffee? I'll do this for now, play a little game.
Whatever this fake stuff
but when
is.
the circus is over.
In normal circumstances, I would totally agree with her because you could go out and get quote unquote a real coffee. But in Australia, it's like their real coffee is like, that's $6 for a lot of milk.
And we have to watch the budget, man. We don't want to spend it necessarily on coffee. If I can get it for free, I'm going to get it for free. Yeah. And one of the rules that I always follow too is we try to get a hotel with a continental breakfast, so that at least we have something included.
Great idea. All of a sudden, put bagels in your pockets. That's lunch later.
Yeah, continentals are hard to come by though. Lately, I haven't seen a continental breakfast in a long time.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that don't offer it anymore for whatever reason. I don't know if it's maybe it was a COVID thing. Maybe they're like, oh, everybody's touching these eggs.
Used to be great.
Let's be honest.
Like a croissant, but it's free.
Yeah, but it was never that good.
No, it
wasn't,
that good.
But it was
a croissant. It's free. It's from last week.
Yeah.
That's hard as a rock.
I've told you the worst.
It's free.
I've told you the worst continental breakfast I ever had, didn't I? Where they hung a Danish on the door.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I open the door and there's a little baggie with a Danish strawberry being smeared everywhere. Let's get into some more food rules when we do some traveling. We'll do it when we continue on Take Two. Welcome back to Take Two with the Rock 95 Morning Crew. It's Craig, Brian, and MJ. We're talking about food rules when you're traveling. I have one that my parents used. They always had to go to Bob Evans when they were in the States. Have you heard of Bob Evans?
No.
It's like a dine, like Denny's almost.
Yeah, they called it real McCoy food.
Such a parent thing of the 80s to say.
Yeah, where the oatmeal just stuck to your ribs literally.
Sometimes when you go to a place that you go frequently, though, like when we go to the States, we always go to Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
That's
okay.
it. Yeah, we can't get it in Canada, and it's like affordable, and it's pretty good food.
Well, I got to, and I haven't been to the States in a long time, but I figure if I ever go again, I want to try one of those burger places that you always see on American commercials, the Jack in the Box or Sonic.
Oh my God, Red
Sonic.
Robin, disgusting.
But they look so good.
It was not. You figure out quickly when you go to one of those places why they're not in Canada.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Like if they were that good, they would have expanded into Canada, and they have not.
Really?
I've always wanted to try a White Castle, and I never have. And I know that they're garbage, but I don't
Bottom
care.
of the barrel, isn't it?
I know.
It is.
I know.
It's terrible, but that's all right.
Yeah.
It's part of the things you go. So Craig's going to Montreal specifically, and that would mean, are you going to have some French food? And obviously people would say poutine.
some
Where's the poutine?
Poutine?
It'll be everywhere.
Poutine.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Every restaurant you go to, I feel like will serve a poutine, and that doesn't mean it's good. It just means it's everywhere.
I think
Every place will have the best bagel.
Yes, well, they will, but I think my rule is if we're going to do it, because we're never going to be there again, at least not anytime soon, I'm going to want to go to a place that specializes in bagels or poutine. Like, I'm not just going to go to a place that's a steakhouse and get poutine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because anybody can do that. We
Yes.
have it here,
Yeah.
right?
The poutine place or
But
the
yeah,
bagel
when
place.
in Rome, I think you got to do what you in a Montreal smoked meat sandwich, which Brian is not a fan of. I love
Heartburn.
and it's so thick, like it's the size
my
of
God.
your hand, the meat inside this.
It's awkward to
Yeah.
eat.
Two little flimsy pieces of bread with mustard, right? But I feel like I
Right.
gotta have it because it's
Have one.
there. Yeah,
I feel like you don't need to have that multiple days in a row. That's a one.
we'll see how good it is.
gonna be one of
I mean, you
everybody
had
share.
kangaroo when you were in Australia.
I did.
And you
I
feel like
did.
you had to.
And I feel like, I definitely feel like I had to. If you were to give it to me here, I'd be like, no. But when I was there, it's like you kind of.
But you didn't get you got jerky.
I got jerky. Yeah.
The
Because.
difference between you didn't get a burger, a kangaroo burger.
Oh, no. And I didn't really see it on the menu, but I wasn't really looking for it. I guess if you
Right.
looked for it or asked for it, you could have gotten it. Maybe they didn't want to upset the tourists. I have no idea.
But like when we were planning a trip to Minnesota, and I talked about this, I was looking up the food that they get that's exclusive to Minnesota, or at least is supposed to be exclusive.
Right,
And
it's a Philly cheesesteak, Detroit
Yeah.
style
Yeah,
pizza,
yeah.
Chicago
if you're going
deep dish.
if you're going to Philadelphia and you don't get a cheesesteak, you're not really going to Philadelphia.
No,
right?
were you ever there?
So, and I never heard of anything in Minnesota, but the thing that they had was this Juicy Lucy, and I actually had Brian look it up for me to find out what it is and why they had the name Juicy Lucy.
What is it again?
It's a
It was
burger.
funny.
It is funny. It's a burger and it's got cheese in the middle.
Yeah, the story was better than it sounded. The backstory was funnier, but whatever.
The
Okay.
backstory, from what I remembered, he looked up. Some guy actually ordered it special, and when he took a bite of it, he goes, "That's one Juicy Lucy," and the name stuck. But anyway, we went to Minnesota, and nobody served it.
Yeah, it was
Like,
very much a tourist thing. I feel like when you were asking to a what?
They were rolling their eyes. This guy again with the Juicy Lucy.
great.
We actually went to the ballpark because that's what we did. We went there for a Toronto Blue Jays series against the Twins, and my brother sought it out. And he thought they would serve it at the ballpark because you think you would.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
a
great
Minnesota
ballpark type thing to
it
do, yeah.
feels like it, yeah. And he went up to a guy and said, "You got a Juicy Lucy stand?" And they had to ask around, and they called the manager. And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute."
You're making a thing.
I've got one for you. So
Sure.
this isn't a food rule, but do you guys, and I feel like MJ certainly does, have a travel rule when it comes to a souvenir? Like when we went to Mexico, my girlfriend's like, "We're gonna get a magnet,"
A magnet.
and we got a magnet. Some people get a mug. MJ, what did you have? You had
Christmas ornament.
Christmas ornament.
Everywhere you go,
No.
a Christmas
No,
ornament.
but you kind of look for it.
Oh yeah, everywhere I go, like any new destination, we have an Australia one, we got New York ones, we've got
Craig,
one from
what,
the Vatican.
what do
we got-
you get when you go to these
I'm
places?
so cliche. I do shot glasses.
Craig's 18.
I do. I started when I was 18, and when somebody goes somewhere, I'm like, "Can you bring me back a shot glass?"
Jeez.
When someone else goes somewhere,
Well, I did
Oh, yeah.
that for a
Sweet
while.
collection, Craig. You got 6 Mexico shot glasses.
That's right.
Listen to Craig, Brian, and MJ, the Rock 95 Morning Crew on Barry's Rock Station, Rock 95.